Hello folks, welcome to Pro Trader Strategies Market Commentary for Tuesday, April the 27th. I'm Eric Wilkinson and you very well may recognize me as the Wolfman from mainstream media, where I talk about the economic data, the geopolitical environment, how those come in to impact the markets with some of my market analysis. I'm going to do the same thing in these daily market commentaries, but I'm also going to talk about these option strategies I'm implementing into my portfolio based on those assumptions I come up with in my market analysis. For you folks, I've streamlined that process to spot the optimal option strategy for any given assumption. What we do is we look at the pricing of those options and determine if they're expensive or cheap. That ultimately leads us to the strategy that is best suited for our directional move. All right, so without further ado, let's get on with the economic data. Across the pond, really not a whole lot going on, but keep in mind we do have OPEC meetings going on, and that is going to be driving what we're looking here at crude oil right now. It is moving a little bit higher today. Most people probably expecting the production to relatively remain unchanged is the way I'm looking at it right now. All right, then here in the United States, we got the Richmond Fed Manufacturing Index coming in at 17, slightly lower than the expected 22. Remember, we've been seeing these numbers come in pretty mixed for the most part, leading me to believe some of those service PMI numbers, we're going to, maybe even manufacturing PMI numbers, we're going to be a little bit light, but we've seen some of these manufacturing numbers come in relatively strong, despite the fact that these Fed manufacturing numbers have been a bit of a mixed bag, and this one, continuing that conundrum, coming in at 17, expected to be 22. One thing we did see, though, was the consumer confidence number coming in at 121.7, expected to be 113.1. It did revise last month's number down, albeit slightly, a couple of tenths of a percent, but that headline number just knocking it out of the park. That should give the consumer or the investor a little bit more confidence in the overall economy going forward, at least this week, I would think. We're going to get a bunch more economic data across the pond and here in the United States for the rest of the week, some in the form of consumer price index, retail sales, things like that. So pretty good week for economic data, and it is probably going to be our most busy week for earnings data. We got Tesla last night. They came out and actually beat on the street. So we'll talk about that here in a minute once we get through all these markets. So bear with me for just a moment. Like we said, crude oil just slightly higher on the day, above that 50-day simple moving average again, and above the 78 Fibonacci here. Now, $61.83, clearly above that right now, but that's the line in the sand for the bulls and the bears to fight over right now. It's lined up with that 50-day simple moving average. So you've got a lot of technicians coming into this market looking maybe at different chart setups or different, I should say, indicators, whether it be the Fibonacci or the simple moving averages. Both of those line up quite nicely with one another, so that will act as a major support and resistance in the near future. Bitcoin moving higher today, testing that 50-day simple moving average here as well. Not quite above it, but just shy by a couple of dollars, up almost $1,000 on the day. Gold futures are dragging despite the fact that we're seeing this strength in Bitcoin. A lot of this, there's a lot of talk with companies investing in Bitcoin as an alternative asset. We heard about Tesla doing that with Elon Musk. He was really the catalyst to get other people to really start considering adding this investment vehicle to a portfolio, albeit you should do it very small. Elon Musk did it in his portfolio for Tesla. Had that company, Tesla, actually buy Bitcoin. That was driving that price higher. Classic pump and dump, to be quite honest, and we'll dig into that here in a moment. Like I said, bonds pretty much unchanged on the day. VIX is creeping a little bit higher, and we're seeing weakness in the equities as we are very near those all-time highs, but pretty much an open at or near the highs of the overnight session, or actually of the day session. And really just seeing some weakness throughout the day here, despite, like I said, pretty decent economic data there. Dow Jones Industrial Average off by only about 23 points. That's nothing, folks. And we've got the E-mini S&Ps making an all-time high, but keep in mind that was made overnight, as we'll see here. Overnight inventory pretty flat yesterday, very inside day. I mean, literally nothing happened yesterday. It was a pretty boring day, to be quite honest, and we're kind of setting up for one of those again today. It seems like we did see some weakness throughout the morning. today maybe, or right now, at least at this point in time, it looks like we're trying to find a little bit of support here. We're going to talk about Tesla. Let's get on with these earnings because we've got a lot to go over about what I'm going to be looking at going forward here. Tesla, UPS came out also. I didn't play any of these last night because Tesla, I have sworn myself off of, folks. You guys know that. At least the folks that have been around for a while. I try not to trade on Tesla because I want to play it to the downside, generally speaking. So I've sworn this one off for earnings. But you can see they have a nice win on nice earnings coming out with 93 cents in earnings, right? Now, couple of things to note here. Elon Musk said that he thinks that the Model Y is going to be the most popular vehicle sold next year. Now that's a tough ask, to be quite honest, because I don't even know if he produces that many cars in a given year. But having said that, he is claiming that the Model Y is going to be the most popular car going forward here. That is the SUV Tesla. And something else to note, they got into positive territory trading Bitcoin. Now, if you guys followed this whole storyline here, Elon Musk did a classic pump and dump talking about getting into Bitcoin. The market really rallied and he covered those and made a ton of money. Well, that was part of the catalyst, folks, that made Tesla actually have positive earnings here. That's kind of got them into the black from the red there. So a bit of a slap in the face in a sense where, yes, you are a car company, but you aren't making your money on cars. Well, you're a car company that's actually a tech company that doesn't make money on tech or cars. You make money on trading. Well, that's kind of why I think we're seeing a little bit of weakness here in Tesla as the company kind of created their profits through a trading of an alternative instrument that isn't quite widely accepted at this point in time. So I think that some weakness here from not necessarily the retail trader, but maybe a little bit more aligns with the institutional trader that's a little bit worried about their business model here. All right, so like I said, after the close today, we've got Google, Amgen, Starbucks, Microsoft, Visa, and Pinterest. So I'm going to be looking at those tomorrow morning. We've got Boeing, Yum, Hess, and Ford. So those are at least five that I'm going to be looking at. Amgen, Google, Starbucks, Facebook, Microsoft, and Boeing are probably the ones that I'll be trading here this evening. So keep your eyes out on my Twitter handle at Wolfman's blog, because that's where I'm going to be throwing out there which ones I'm picking. I'm not going to tell you exact strike location or any of that stuff. You guys should know that from being able to spot that quickly and easily by watching or after watching those videos on the webinars. All right, so that's all I got for you guys. Take a moment to go over our disclaimer, as we're an educational company and we are not here to get you guys to do the trades that I'm doing, but we're using these as real life examples for you guys to follow along in order to learn how to trade options in your own way. All right, so if you can't take that, take it easy.